Have you ever felt like you're just drifting through your own life? You wake up, answer messages, attend meetings, check boxes off your to-do list, talk to people without really connecting, and somehow, when the day ends, you lie in bed and realize, I was busy all day, but I didn't really live. In a world that's constantly loud, fast, and filled with pressure, something truly important is slowly slipping away, your connection to yourself. And if that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many of us are trying to meet expectations, keep up, perform, until one day we look in the mirror and barely recognize who we've become. The question is, how do you find your way back? How do you return to a version of yourself that feels grounded, present, and real? The answer doesn't lie in some grand transformation or a distant escape. Sometimes, it's the smallest changes that create the biggest shift. In this video, I'll share with you 10 simple ways to reconnect with yourself. Practical, quiet practices that can help you pause, breathe, and remember who you really are. You don't need to change your entire life today. Just start with one moment of awareness. Lesson 1. Begin with a moment of stillness. In a world that constantly demands your attention, stillness can feel unnatural, even uncomfortable. But in Japanese culture, silence and stillness are sacred. They're not seen as emptiness or lack of productivity, but as space for clarity, space for self. The Japanese have long practiced rituals of quiet reflection, whether it's through a tea ceremony, a walk through nature, or simply sitting by a window in the early morning. These are moments where nothing productive happens on the outside, but something essential unfolds within. Stillness is where your thoughts soften, your breath deepens, and your sense of self slowly returns. And no, you don't need a Zen garden or a remote mountain cabin. You just need a few minutes. Start your day by doing nothing for 2 minutes. Sit in silence. Breathe. Don't pick up your phone. Don't think about your to-do list. Just be. It might feel strange at first, but give it time. That short pause becomes a kind of daily anchor, a way to gently remind yourself, I'm here. I exist outside of my roles, outside of my schedule. You're not just a task machine. You're a human being. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to stop. Lesson 2. Disconnect to reconnect. How often do you reach for your phone without even realizing it? It's become second nature, scrolling through notifications, checking emails, swiping through reels, all in the name of keeping up. But the truth is, the more connected we are to the world, the more disconnected we often become from ourselves. In Japanese culture, intentional disconnection isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's why practices like forest bathing or Shinrin-yoku are so common. They're not about doing something, they're about being. Immersing yourself in the natural world without distractions, letting your senses recalibrate. You don't need a forest to do this. Start small, try this. Choose one evening this week to go offline. Turn off your notifications. Put your phone in a drawer. Let the silence settle in. At first, you might feel restless. You might instinctively reach for the screen, but slowly, you'll notice something else. Your thoughts get clearer. Your body feels more present. Your inner voice gets louder. That voice, that's you. You've always been there, underneath the noise. The irony is, we go online to feel connected, but sometimes, the greatest connection comes when we disconnect from everything else and come home to ourselves. Make space for that. Even just an hour. Let your mind breathe. Let your soul speak. That's where real connection begins. Lesson 3. Honor your emotions. We live in a world that teaches us to smile through discomfort, to stay strong, to move on. But beneath all that performance, emotions don't disappear. They just get buried. And over time, we forget how to actually feel them. In Japanese philosophy, there's a quiet reverence for what's hidden beneath the surface. Think of wabi-sabi, the beauty found in imperfection, in vulnerability. The Japanese don't see brokenness as failure, they see it as truth. A crack in a ceramic bowl isn't something to hide, it's something to highlight, sometimes even filled with gold, kintsugi, as a sign of strength through healing. What if we treated our emotions the same way? Instead of pushing them away, what if we gave them space? Sadness, frustration, even joy, none of these are wrong. They're just signals. clues, reminders that you're alive, that you care. Take a moment today to sit with how you really feel, not how you should feel, not what you're supposed to project, but what's real inside. Maybe it's as simple as admitting, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I miss something I can't name. Or maybe, I'm at peace today, and I don't need to apologize for that. When you honor your emotions, you honor yourself, because denying your feelings doesn't make you stronger. Facing them does, and that's where healing begins. Lesson 4, listen to your body. We spend so much time living in our heads, planning, overthinking, rushing from one thing to the next that we forget something simple. The body remembers what the mind ignores. In Japanese culture, there's a quiet wisdom in honoring the natural rhythms of life. They pay close attention to the seasons, to temperature, to energy. Meals are light yet nourishing. Movement is gentle but intentional, like in Tai Chi or Ikigai-inspired morning walks. There's no obsession with pushing beyond limits. Instead, there's deep respect for balance. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you ate because you were truly hungry, not just because the clock told you it was lunchtime? When did you last rest, not because you were exhausted, but simply because your body whispered that it needed a break? Listening to your body isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's how you build trust with yourself again. That tension in your shoulders, the constant fatigue, the shallow breathing, these aren't background noise, they're messages. Try this. Once a day, pause and check in. Close your eyes and ask, what do I feel in my body right now? Are you tense? Are you tired? Are you grounded? No judgment, just awareness. Your body isn't just a vehicle to carry your mind, it's a source of truth. And when you start listening, you'll be surprised at how much it's been trying to tell you. Lesson 5. Clear your space, clear your mind. Clutter is more than just a pile of things. It's a reflection of what's happening inside. In Japanese homes, space is sacred. Simplicity isn't just a style, it's a way to invite peace into everyday life. Rooms are open, objects are intentional, surfaces are clean, not because it looks good, but because it feels right. Why? Because visual noise creates mental noise. A messy desk isn't just hard to work at, it's hard to think in. A packed closet doesn't just waste time, it drains energy. Clearing space is a form of self-respect. It's saying, I deserve to live in an environment that supports me, not overwhelms me. But don't worry, you don't have to become a minimalist overnight. Start small. One drawer, one shelf, one surface. Touch each item and ask yourself, does this serve me? Does it bring me calm or chaos? You'll find that when you begin removing what's unnecessary, you also begin uncovering clarity, not just in your home, but in your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions. A clean space isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. It's a quiet reminder that you're allowed to choose peace, one object and one moment at a time. Lesson 6, do something just for joy. When was the last time you did something with no goal, no deadline, no pressure to be productive, just pure joy? In the pace of modern life, even hobbies get turned into side hustles. We track our steps, measure our calories, time our meditation. Everything becomes a task. But joy isn't something to measure, it's something to feel. In Japanese culture, there's deep respect for simple pleasures, things done quietly, intentionally, for no other reason than the happiness they bring. Arranging flowers, writing haiku, making tea. These aren't chores. They're moments of presence. You don't need to be good at something for it to matter. Bake cookies, even if they burn. Paint, even if it's messy. Dance alone in your room, even if you look ridiculous. Because when you give yourself permission to create joy, just because you reconnect with the part of you that isn't trying to impress or perform, you reconnect with the child version of you, the one who didn't need a reason to smile or sing. Try this. Pick one thing this week that you do only for joy, not to achieve, not to share on social media, not to prove anything, just because it makes you feel alive. That's where your light lives, and the more you follow it, the more yourself you become. Lesson 7. Walk alone, without a destination. Not every journey needs a destination. Sometimes, the most meaningful walks are the ones that lead you nowhere but inward. In Japanese tradition, walking is more than movement, it's mindfulness. The practice of kinshin, or walking meditation invites you to take each step with awareness, not urgency. There's no hurry, no endpoint, just the rhythm of your feet, your breath, the quiet unfolding of the moment. When was the last time you walked without a purpose? No phone in hand, no podcast in your ears, no goal to reach. Try it. Just step outside and walk. Notice the way the wind brushes your skin, the sound of leaves crunching beneath your shoes, the smell of rain or coffee or earth. Let your senses lead. Let your mind soften, because something beautiful happens when you stop chasing direction and start embracing presence. Your thoughts begin to slow, your body settles, and in that stillness, a quiet voice returns. It's you. You don't need a map to find yourself, just space, stillness, and a few steps in solitude. Lesson 8. Be with people who make you feel like yourself. There's a special kind of peace that comes from being around someone who doesn't expect you to be anything other than who you are. No performance, no filtering, no need to impress. In Japanese culture, relationships are often built on subtlety and depth. It's not about loud declarations or constant closeness. It's about presence, shared silence, mutual respect. The comfort of simply being together without pressure. You don't need a crowd. You just need connection, the kind that feels like exhaling. Think about it. Who are the people you feel light around? Who lets you speak your truth or sit in silence without filling the space? Who reminds you that you are enough, even on your messy days? Those are your people. And if you haven't found them yet, that's okay. Sometimes reconnecting with yourself is the first step toward attracting the kind of relationships that reflect your truth. This week, make time for someone who feels like home. Send a message, share a meal, take a walk, be real. Because healing doesn't always happen in solitude. Sometimes, it happens in the quiet presence of someone who simply sees you and stays. Lesson 9. Let emptiness be enough. We're taught to fill every corner of our lives with noise, with tasks, with things. But what if emptiness wasn't something to fix, but something to feel? In Japanese aesthetics, there's a concept called ma, the space between things. It's the pause in music that makes the next note matter, the quiet in a room that gives it life, the blank space in a painting that allows your mind to breathe. In Western culture, we often fear empty space. We rush to fill silence with words, walls with art, schedules with meetings, hearts with distractions. But sometimes, what you truly need is nothing. Try this. Leave one shelf empty, one part of your day unscheduled, one conversation without trying to solve anything. Just let it be. At first, it might feel awkward, like something's missing, but stay with it. That emptiness, it's not lack, it's room. Room to reflect, to breathe, to be. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to not know. You are allowed to leave some spaces open physically, emotionally, spiritually, because not everything meaningful is meant to be filled. Sometimes, the most sacred part of your life is the space you leave untouched. Lesson 10. Thank yourself daily. Gratitude is often something we direct outward to people, to moments, to things. But how often do you turn that gratitude inward? In Japanese culture, appreciation isn't just for special occasions, it's a daily act. They bow before a meal, not just to honor the food, but to thank everyone who made it possible. They care for objects gently, with a sense of reverence. And perhaps most importantly, there's a quiet, unspoken gratitude for the self for enduring, for showing up. What if you offered yourself that same respect? Not just when you achieve something big, but on the ordinary days when you got out of bed, even though it was hard. When you listened to your needs, when you chose rest, when you kept going. Try this. Once a day, thank yourself. It could be as simple as saying, "Thank you for trying," or writing a quick note, "I'm proud of you for being honest today." Don't wait until you feel enough to be grateful. Gratitude isn't a reward. It's a way home, because when you learn to thank yourself, you stop chasing worth. You start living from it. And that changes everything. You've just heard 10 simple ways to reconnect with yourself. 10 quiet invitations to pause, to breathe, and to remember who you are beneath the noise. None of these are complicated. You don't need to move across the world, delete every app, or overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to begin with one gentle choice. Maybe it's clearing a drawer, or walking in silence, or thanking yourself for getting through a hard day. Whatever it is, start small, and trust that those small shifts create space for clarity, for healing, for you. Because the truth is, you've never really been lost. You've just been busy, distracted, pulled in too many directions. But you are always allowed to return to the quiet, to the stillness, to the version of yourself that feels real and whole. And in that return, you don't just find peace, you find power. So, tell me which of these lessons spoke to you the most. Which one will you try this week? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a moment of stillness too. Because sometimes the most beautiful journey is the one that brings you back home to yourself.